Good afternoon, everyone. This is Jared Rand. Welcome to the Global Guided Meditation Call for Thursday, February 16th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern. We're going to be having a reverse aging health call tomorrow night at around 9 p.m. Eastern. Speak that which cannot be spoken. Speak that which cannot be spoken. Why hanker for security? Life is insecure in its very nature. Hence, it is simple logic. Those who want to be more alive, they have to live in insecurity. The greater the insecurity, the more will be your aliveness. Also, see, those who choose to live in their comfort zones, and then those who choose to live in the unknown. And the ones in the unknown, which is insecure, the more they will be, the more will be their aliveness. Each one of us naturally carries a deep and sacred clarity about ourselves and our world. We were born with a crystal clear perception of this life that has no judgments nor any limiting beliefs. However, through the years, this innate understanding became clouded by others' judgments, opinions, and misperceptions. Habitual thinking patterns soon developed that were embedded with gobs of assumptions, societal beliefs, and countless stories about what limited and powerless human beings we really are. With all of this misunderstanding, the mind could assume that this whole world was unjust and that human interactions were a constant struggle we all just had to deal with to survive. The habit of unclear seeing can be so normally clouded that we don't realize we're in it. If we feel that we're in a whirlpool of challenges and have been suffering on any level for weeks, months, or years, we can jump out of this spinning toilet bowl by shifting our mindsets. Let go of all limited ways of thinking and tell your mind to return to your greatest truth. When you come to the deepest core of your being, and we all will eventually come to the deepest core of our being, to our very source, we will know that we are God, that you are God. Okay. Our greatest truth is that which liberates us on the deepest level and causes our lives to overflow with joy and ease. Our greatest truth is that which liberates us on the deepest level and causes our lives to overflow with joy and ease. It is it's our most natural state of being that has the taste of unbounded freedom. When we can clearly know our truth, feel what is exactly going on within our hearts, we become aligned with our soul's mission and feel a deep aliveness bubbling up from within. The truth brings us into the experience of divine alignment with the whole universe, where every day feels like we're floating down a fun, effortless river made of milk and honey. Look within. Be still, free from fear and attachment. Know the sweet joy of living in this way. Buddha. From the Dhammapada. So my invitation for you today just might become the most radical and challenging task you've ever received in your life. The action in itself is one that any child could easily conquer. Yet for a mature adult, it may bring you down to your knees. The action in itself is one that any child could easily conquer. Yet for a mature adult, it may bring you down to your knees. The child hasn't been programmed by other people's thoughts fully, but the mature adult has. It's only for those who want to awaken from the dream and become ridiculously alive in every area of their life. If and when you want to feel totally alive, overflowing, and tremendous joy and freedom in this lifetime, then give yourself plenty of time and courage to attempt this mission. If this is you, then go for it. Please remember that the assignment is not for the half-hearted. It may bring up the greatest amount of fear you've ever discovered. Yet it's good to know that all fear is simply excitement in disguise. I have faith that you can get excited about this invitation and see it as a special journey in unraveling yourself. All you'll need is 15 seconds of courage to complete this radical assignment. It's guaranteed to shift your life in the most profound ways. Life is ironic. It takes sadness to know what happiness is, noise to appreciate silence, and absence to value presence. And the only reason that is because our memories have been blasted away. So we go through this every single incarnation. We literally experience the same things over and over again, different degrees, different sensitivities, different places, different families, different interactions, but still pretty much the same. And this is why. This is why we have to experience sadness to know what happiness is when we already know what those two are, but we don't have the memory of it. Noise to appreciate silence and absence to value presence. When you follow through with this mission, you'll discover the most amazing freedom inside you, a freedom that has no boundaries, no limitations, and a vast unlimited potentiality. It has nothing to give you but pure ecstasy and bliss. This freedom is not created by thoughts, bound by thoughts, nor liberated through thinking. It is discovered in that timeless space between your thoughts, otherwise known as the gap between each word, which continues passing through your brain. In between your thoughts is this void, the unknown, the place where pure love, creativity, and divine state of bliss will arise from. There are many techniques that will enable you to suddenly fall deep into this gap between your thoughts and discover the very source of who and what you are. Yet, many of these techniques have no lasting permanent effect, which remain implemented in your daily social life. There is, however, one technique that I deem as the most powerful of them all, which comes through one simple intention. Always speak that which cannot be spoken. Always speak that which cannot be spoken. What does this mean? How are you to speak something which you cannot say? Inside you, there exists a level of information that you are protecting, hiding, and keeping secret from the world. You fear that if society found out this information about you, that you would be ruined. This information is protecting your ego from being found out, where you may become embarrassed to the point of feeling like you should leave the community. Expect nothing and appreciate everything. The energy around protecting information is draining. And this protective pattern is exactly what you need to let go of, to ascend the highest energy of consciousness. Holding on to too tightly anything in this world will create an energetic wall around your ego, causing you to live a shielded, guarded, unfree life. Whatever is behind this wall is the sacred secret information, which you most need to share. The one thing that would destroy you in this life is also that which will liberate you. Perhaps it's your greatest secret, your biggest fear, or that most embarrassing moment of your life. The golden nugget here is to see why this tiny piece of insignificant information has become such a big deal for you. Why you have spent so much energy in protecting and hiding it, rather than being liberated from these thoughts and feelings. We really don't know how small of a cage we are currently living in until we step out into the vast sky. By sharing that which we cannot share, we open the door to become that being who is continuously overflowing with joy, love, and laughter like a child. He who has realized the self in the heart has transcended the dualities and is never perplexed. Ramana. Keep silent and know there's only one self. When we are no longer invested in our egos, we don't spend all this extra mental energy in hiding or avoiding saying things with anyone. We are no longer invested in our egos. We don't spend all this extra mental energy in hiding or avoiding saying things with anyone. When we give up protecting the ego, a tremendous freedom is instantly found. A truly free soul is one who can speak whatever is on their mind with anyone at any time. How many do you believe have that, understand that? A truly free soul is one who can speak whatever is on their mind with anyone at any time. They are a walking state of liberation. No matter how trivial their message is, it is the liberty at which their words effortlessly pour out of their mouths which make them so amazing to be with. It is this level of freedom that gives them the power to dive into the deepest depths of their souls. That which we cannot share, should not share, or feel terrified in letting others know about ourselves, is a big egoic game and a hoax. That which we cannot share, should not share, or feel terrified in letting others know about ourselves is a big egoic game and hoax. People really don't care about your secrets. They most likely have their own, which are 10 times more frightening than yours. When we can dismantle any hesitation around sharing that which we should not share, the core ego structure and its walls around the prized identity we were once clinging to come tumbling down. After we share ourselves openly without care, or hidden secrets can fly free into the wind and vast unbounded sky. When the dust from the fear of social ostracization soon settles, we can suddenly see the world through crystal clear eyes, as if it was for the very first time. All problems are illusions of the mind. All problems are illusions of the mind, Eckhart Tolle. As I mentioned, this may be the hardest act of courage any of us have ever tackled in our lives. Yet no great action went without fear. You will discover a multitude of excuses for avoiding sharing what you cannot share. The ego may make you think this assignment is ridiculous and your reputation is at stake. There are just some things in this life that are not meant to be shared. Look at this. Look at what you are defending, protecting, and avoiding. The ego is a master at keeping you in prison and continuing to hide that which keeps you blocked, locked up inside. Would you be a greater or lesser person having gone to your grave desperately holding this information back from those who are most intimate with you? You'll soon find that speaking your truth freely is contagious, as it enlightens the load for everyone in your presence every day. Once you start thinking about that information you're holding back from the world, ponder the idea of what it may feel like to not have to protect it anymore. What would it feel like once your great secret is out and fully accepted with great compassion by your entire community? It makes you realize how much energy we spend on coping. What a tight, controlled, and limited world we often live with on the inside. There is no need for this self-engaged prison. We can choose to be free. Now, I'm not saying that you should shock every person you meet on the street by barfing your darkest, deepest secrets onto them. What would be the point of that? While that may be a liberating exercise, what I'm pointing you towards today is much more liberating. It's about creating a profound intimacy with those souls you already know. The season of failure is the best time for sowing the seeds of success. The season of failure is the best time for sowing the seeds of success. Paramahansa and Yogananda. One great secret is knowing how to start sharing that which you cannot share. Before you say anything to anyone, it's key that you set the stage with your individual listener or audience. This can be done through shifting your tone of voice to a more deep, sincere, honest quality that prepares them to listen from that depth as well. Then you can start with saying, I'd like to share something with you that's not easy for me to speak about. I'd like to share something with you that's not easy for me to speak about. With this one comment, you will instigate a heightened level of their listening, and the room will instantly get quiet. This creates a momentum to dive deeper within you, where it becomes easier to reveal your deepest truth and be fully heard. If your listener is not willing to hear you, then there is no reason to speak. If you know you simply cannot reach the minds and hearts of your audience, then remain silent and speak to them in a room by yourself. Yet, if these people truly love you, they will listen as best they can. It's vital that you learn how to reach out with your feelings, get a sense for where your audience is listening from. Trust the wait. Embrace the uncertainty. Enjoy the beauty of becoming. When nothing is certain, anything is possible. Mandy Hale. How can you say what you're needing to say in that special way that they can understand you? When you learn how to listen to and through your listener's ears, you speak that message that comes through clearly. By tuning your mind to who is listening, you can share from a more confident space and communicate the more subtle aspects of that which cannot be communicated inside you. Radical, heartfelt communication is about sharing your truth in a way that is received fully. If you aren't in tune with your audience's listening, it will feel like you're talking to a brick wall. The will to power and to dominate arises only in the sick mind. The will to power and to dominate arises only in the sick mind. It arises out of the inferiority complex. People who are not suffering from an inferiority complex do not care about power. Their whole endeavor is for peace, because the meaning of life can be known only in peace. Power is not the way. Osho. When you're ready to instigate a radical change in your life, I recommend doing this exercise. Create a truth circle. Now, we did this, we called it the Circle of Light Gathering. And we had different people from all walks of life. They still go on throughout the planet today. And I started these, oh goodness, 25 years ago. And when you're ready to instigate a radical change in your life, I recommend doing this exercise. Create a truth circle or a circle of light. Gather a group of your dearest friends or family members into a circle for an hour. Find an object that everyone agrees is to be the sacred talking stick. Okay? Find an object that everyone agrees is to be the sacred talking stick. The stick can be anything from a rock, an egg, an actual stick, or whatever you deem to be the spatial talking device. Only the person holding the stick has the right to speak, and everyone else cannot make commentary, give suggestions, or feedback. The only feedback everyone can give is silence. Give each person 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the size of the circle, to share that which they cannot share. Place the stick in the middle of the circle, and when a person is ready, they must pick it up. Each person holding the stick must spend the entire time speaking as much as they can from their very soul. If there is more silence than words, wonderful. That will give them more initiative to share when the sharing circle happens the next week. Before you begin the circle, talk about the intention of the circle, which is to create a deeper quality of honesty, love, truthfulness, and friendship between everyone. The support of the circle will as well liberate each individual from their fears and insecurities. Have everyone agree that information shared is sacred and that it will never leave the circle. Don't seek, don't search, don't ask, don't knock, don't demand, relax. If you relax, it comes. If you relax, it is there. If you relax, you start vibrating with it. Also, the reverence of this agreement gives everyone more permission to reveal themselves fully. The silence during sharing time also needs to be held in the most sacred manner. And yet, if some people absolutely cannot hold back a small chuckle or laughter, that also has to be welcomed and integrated. Laughter can instigate a deeper healing, creating lightness out of what someone deemed a heavy traumatic demon in their mind for decades. You will be blown away at what happens in your life with this assignment. You, your family, and friendships will totally be transformed. By holding a sacred sharing circle on a weekly basis, the connections and intimacy will be amazing. The layers of shielding and hiding will in time start falling away, and you'll discover an entirely new level of inner peace and relaxation with everyone, the inside your being. Imagine a world where everyone you know is included in this level of sharing. Imagine what would happen if and when your entire community started to participate in their own sharing circle. Everyone around you could openly share their deepest truth without fear. In a few months, you would have a very empowered, whole, and healed world around you. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. Fearless soul. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. So this circle, you set it up with people that you know, and a lot of people that you don't know. We would go around. We would do this at bonfires, campfires too, that we would do outdoors. And then, everyone, after, a little eating and everything, would gather around the fire in a circle. And you could hear a pin drop. In fact, everything around us went complete silent. And each one knew that for 5 to 10 minutes, they were going to share closely guarded things that they carry within them. These were people who were partners in law firms, accounting firms. These were people who were, pin knockers, plumbers, electricians, body shop workers, owners. And it was amazing the information that came out. Now, there was an understanding that no one would speak of this outside the circle, ever. And everybody trusted everybody. And you'd be amazed on what happened, things that transformed people by letting this out. And see, it's interesting because a lot of us feel that what we, secretly carry within us is very important. It's very, very deep, very serious, very, very fearful, worrisome, right? But then when you let it out, those in the circle, it's interesting perspectives. They view it as light-hearted, not serious at all, because then they share theirs, and some of the other people are blown away. Absolutely blown away. Now, the interesting part is that everybody around the circle joined hands. We connected. A lot of people are afraid to do that. A lot of people are afraid to touch people. You believe that? They're afraid to touch people. So we would connect. We would link each other throughout the circle. And palm to palm. Okay? It's a different way. Palm to palm. And so the vibratory frequency in the circle and the element of fire, and we were always by water as well. So we would have the fire and the water and the earth and the air. So all four of those four of the elements. And then we would give a crystal bowl. It was a crystal, small bowl. And whoever it was that was to share would hold that bowl. Interestingly enough, they would hold it, they would put it in their palm, and then they would join the other palm of the person next to them, whatever their dominant hand was, right or left. And then they would talk for 5, 10. Sometimes we would let it go to about 15 minutes, but most of the time it was 5, 10 minutes. And we did this for years. And it was very interesting because we all learned. And we usually had about, 15, 25, 30 people in these circles. This is about a major discovery of oneself. It's coming out, deciding for yourself to come out of this hidden cave, to open up to the fact that you're not minuscule, powerless, feeble, weak, insignificant. You are supreme, immortal power, energy. You never die. You have so many possibilities and abilities that you have not discovered yet. You haven't discovered them because society has formed you. Society has formed you. You're afraid what others will think of you. At a very young age, mind you. That carries through our whole lives. Because what happens is that we say to ourselves, oh, I don't know if people might think I'm nuts, or people might say this or that. And eventually you'll hear this vibration. You'll feel it. Who cares? Who cares? Then you begin to experience a true freedom for yourself. You becoming free. You don't feel heavy and bounded. You feel light, airy, happy, joyous, for no particular reason. See, there's no external force that's going to bring in happiness permanently. You're the force, the God within that body. You're the one who contains the happiness, the joy, the freedom, the bliss, permanently. See, you can really see how we exist in the outside, the material physical world. It's not difficult to figure that out. And that's the ego mind. How do you know that? You can feel it through your heart. You can feel that you're immersed in the material physical world. The rat race, right? You are controlled by the ego mind, which controls the social structure of this planet, the ego mind, which also keeps you in yesterday and tomorrow, and never in the now, because it doesn't exist in the now. Why would it want you to go into the now? It wouldn't. It would do everything to keep you in yesterday and tomorrow. Yesterday's gone and tomorrow hasn't even come. What guarantee do we have? The only one we have is the now. You take someone, let's say, that lives out in the country, born in the country, decided to stay in the country, and visit cities, metropolises, so on and so forth, and just doesn't do well with it. So ends up back out in the country. Now, you have another person who lives in the cities. It's all they've ever known. Born in the city, raised in the city, period. All of the lights and all the things that go on in the city, they like. That's all they know. But the busyness and the stress and the energy flying all over the place in other people's thoughts is humongous. Humongous. See, think about this for a moment. We are told, for the most part, as people of planet Earth, we are told what to wear, right? And there's different parameters that are directed to us on what to wear. We are told what to eat. I'm not saying so much, I'm talking about ego mind, right? And we're told what to eat. We're told when to sleep. We're told when to wake. We're actually told how to live our lives. Now, you really don't give this much time. You don't look at it a lot, if at all. But why is that? Why is it that this civilization is told what to do, is told how to think, is told what to believe, it's told what not to believe, it's told how long to live, because they're always giving, what's your life expectancy? But now, do you see a breach with the civilization? Do you see it where more and more are coming on their own? They're beginning to make their own decisions. They're beginning to think. What before they just followed. From an ignorant civilization that has been suppressed and manipulated from the beginning to now, to a thinking, gaining knowledge civilization, a thinking and gaining knowledge, and looking at things from different perspectives. Not judging, but for yourself to determine these things. And you can feel the vibratory essence, the energy, through the heart-mind, that all of these fabricated social lies throughout the ages are melting away. And you are being exposed to the truth, which is you and the God within you. You're beginning to embrace the fact that, wait a minute here, I'm already free. I guide myself through the God which I am. I decide for myself. I take responsibility for my life and all of my actions. Transforming from the civilization of herd mentality. Herd mentality is what? Herd mentality is when one does it long enough, the rest follow. And they've done experiments with this. All right? And it ends up that they end up doing things, it's just crazy. They did an experiment in a doctor's office. And everybody's sitting around. And a lot of the people in the room were informed to do certain things. Okay? Movement. So every few minutes, one person was there who wasn't told any of this. And the rest of the people would all of a sudden just stand up. Okay? And then they'd sit back down. So at first it wasn't a big deal. The person would read the magazine, and they're waiting to go and see the doctor. And so they were oblivious. They're just reading in the magazine. But then the people kept getting up intermittently, standing up, like to attention. After a while, the person reading the magazine started to look around and look at them on what the heck they were doing. And they were filming the face of the person who was reading the magazine. And you begin to watch them transform. So everybody in that waiting room stands up again for so many seconds and then sits back down. After a while, even though the person reading the magazine has no clue why they're doing it, doesn't ask why they're doing it, begins to stand up with them in tune. Not knowing why, where, what the heck, nothing. That's herd mentality. Okay? If enough people are doing something all together, and there's outsiders that aren't paying attention to that and are just ignoring it, but after a while, they too engage and do the same things that those people are doing. Herd mentality. It's so different than, and you can see this through your heart minds with this planet. You feel it. It's like wars, right? Conflicts. You have, people are told, we're going to war. And then some of the people say, why are we going to war? Well, they did a bad thing here, and we've got to shut them down because it could spread all over the planet. Now, even though most of them who are murder, death, killing others on the battlefield don't even know why they're there. They have no clue why they're doing what they're doing. But herd mentality. Okay? Why is that? Because when we're separated from the God, which is an illusion that we are, but through societal structure, how the society has been formed, we separate from our spirituality and we embrace our physicality. So the illusion of separation is there, which means we are not part of anything, that we are ourselves, by ourselves. And this is repeated constantly on the planet to keep us from discovering the gods that we are. That's what it's all about. To keep us from discovering the gods that we are in these bodies. All of this is about that. All of it. Control and manipulation. That's why in the sacred circles, the circles of light, because that's what they are, you begin to let go of these You know, some people probably call them skeletons in the closet, or they have their own terms and definitions, but it still all boils down to the same. So for us, what it is that we're letting go of the things that control us, which is partly ourselves. And for some people, that's very, very, very challenging. Because what do they fear? What is the biggest fear? Of what others may think of them. That's the biggest fear. That's one of the biggest controlling structures that this civilization hasn't eliminated. Does it matter how we look? Right? No. You do what you do because you want to do it for you. That's it. Okay. And most times you don't do it, right? Because the fear of society and how they will judge you, what they will say about you. A lot of kids today, and have always been, bullied by the kids. Why do the other kids bully them? The other kids themselves were bullied, right? Home issues show love under pressure, they bully others. But the bullies end up becoming the cowards. So we have all of this contrived social structure, which is material physical, which is ego mind purely. Then we have our natural state of being, which is the God, discovering the God that we are within the body, the spirituality, the essence, the pure love, light, energy. Huge difference between the two, but you can differentiate from them and know where you're at without judging yourself. You can know, by your vibrational frequency through the heart mind, that you're in the material physical world. It's not a negative. It is a discovery that you say, do I want to stay in the material physical world? Do I want to stay in the rat race? Or visit it from time to time, but not be of it. And it is up to every one of us to choose which one, which door do we enter. Now we know that the material physical world, the ego mind world, is what? It's suffering for all of us. We all suffer. Stress, worry, fear, ego mind. Or peace, joy, liberation, heart mind, God within us. I really don't believe that that's even it's a no-brainer. I believe that most people feel that it's too hard. Well, it is challenging because you're stepping out of your comfort zone. Isn't it interesting? And how society dictates this, right? The older these bodies get, the less adventurous we become. And why is that? Well, that's the way life is, right? That's the way the social structure is. That's just the way it is. Poppycock. It isn't. It's what you believe you create. You're going to create it all in accordance with Under what influence are you? Ego mind or heart mind? That's big key there. Which one are you leading? And it's a choice. No one's going to make it for you. You'll either make that choice or stay exactly in the comfort zone that you've been in for so long. But isn't it true? Haven't you watched parents and grandparents? Haven't you watched them as the older they get, the less active they become, the less risk they take, almost to the point of no risk. They feel now that it's time for them to just sit back and wait for the body to end. That's society. And they're taught this way, generation after generation. And everything dictates that to them. You're too old, you can't do that. You're too old, you can't do this. You shouldn't be doing that, you're too old. Well, the reason you have this ailment is because of the age of your body. This is the reason you have this is because of the age of your body. And that's just all goop. But it's a prime example across the board of what we focus on, we create. So eventually people focus on the aging of the body. Guess what? They end up accelerating the aging. And they end up making everything true that society has dictated to them about. I've asked some people, how does it feel to be 90? You know what? I don't notice a difference. Because they don't focus on it. They don't focus on it. Most of the things that are caused organically in our bodies are due from what? Stress. Year after year after year after year after year. Stress becomes a comfort zone that we aren't aware we carry it. Part of our comfort zone. But after a while, stress turns into biological. And then because we're ignorant about our bodies, we don't know what to do. So we put it in the hands of complete strangers. Isn't that amazing? We rely on others to do what we should have been doing ages ago, taking care of these bodies. See, it all connects. All of it connects. Every bit of it. Focus on, in this quiet time, in this meditation, focus on what you want. Through the heart mind. I'll join you in the meditation. I'll return to close us out. Take an easy and slow breath in through the nose, and an easy and slow breath out from the mouth. Remain still. We all know that God doesn't make mistakes. What happens inside your body when you realize everything is already in perfection? How do you feel knowing that every experience, every thought, every feeling, every sensation of pleasure and pain that you have today is guided by a higher intelligence? Notice what happens when you accept this truth and start saying yes to each and every experience that arises today. What happens when you see each experience is the most precious gift from God, the God that you are within that body? What if it is? Take this with you for the rest of the day into the evening and night, the following morning. And we'll return here Friday, February 17th, 2023, 3:15 p.m. Eastern to continue our Global Guided Meditation call, and 9 p.m. Eastern to continue our Reverse Aging Health call. Be gentle, kind, generous, and humble with yourself at all times. Be in the deepest, deepest, deepest of eternal gratitude.